Describe it to someone who may not know what it's all about.
Anytime Providence plays URI, it's in an intense, interstate rivalry where both teams try to play their hardest, play their best. I think it's a great game. It's always a really good basketball game. These games come down to the last 2 or 3 possessions, and hopefully the more disciplined team wins.
How do you handle runs that you'll probably imagine to expect, being that there's going to be a raucous environment and the ebb and flow of a game like that?
Well, you got to make sure that you try to prepare your team before you get there on conversation. You get 4 timeouts a game. You have to use one in the first half, of which you normally use. But you can't be afraid to use timeouts when you're on the road in that environment to make sure that you stay in the game and to make sure that the players understand that, it's a 40-minute game at the same time. So hopefully we don't need to use many, but if we do, we got them in our pocket.
And with the way those games closed out in California, is that not smoothly for you guys? What kind of focus is that for you?
Well, we've really been concentrating on starting the game the correct way and finishing games the correct way. Finishing games mean you can't turn the ball over. You got to execute down the stretch. You got to make your free throws. You got to make sure the guys that are playing well get the ball in the spots where they're comfortable, and at the same time have accountability to the other opponent. We've played some spectacular guards in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to play another great guard who's playing really, really well, and Russell. So he'll have a lot of attention on him that he deserves. He's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. Doughton is one of the more experienced guards on their roster who's played in this game 3 times, has tournament experience, and I think they're a great team, and we're going to have a hell of a game on our hands.
What's Russell doing different now?
From the outside, it looks like he's comfortable of who he is. He's a totally different player than he was a year ago at this time when we played them. It seems like the relationship with him and his teammates, him and the staff have really grown. I think Coach Cox is doing a great job with that group down there. They have some phenomenal wins under their belt, and I just hope that we can go in there, play well, and try to come out with a win.
Yeah, when you met him last year, Dave was relatively new. He was still starting out, first-year head coach. What's different about what you're seeing from their team now? And can you see the growth in the coaching staff and what they're doing?
You can definitely see the growth in his coaching. He's a lot more confident, a lot more at ease, but he also knows the team that he has. He also has some veterans that have played in a game like this. They went through a full season. It's not like he's a young coach with respect to not being in high-level games. As an assistant coach, he did a great job, and that's why he earned and deserves the right to be the head coach at URI. So I'm looking forward to the matchup. It should be a lot of fun. I think all the fans will, that are fortunate enough to get into the game. I may have 1 ticket for sale, just one. But I'm looking forward to the environment down there. It should be a lot of fun.
David said yesterday that as an African American who wanted to be a head coach someday, he looked up to what you did at Fairfield. How conscious are you, having done this for as long as you have, of maybe the example that you set, the role model that you are for some assistants out there?
Well, I give Coach Skinner a lot of credit down there, giving me an opportunity to become an assistant and ultimately a head coach. And when you look around college basketball today, the number of minority coaches in college basketball is declining. The number of African-American coaches in football is totally declining. And to have 2 African-American coaches in the state of Rhode Island, if you'd have told me this some 25 years ago, I'd have said you're a liar. So, to be a spokesman and to be a mentor of other young African-American coaches, I'm proud of it. And, I hope more schools give young men and women of different backgrounds an opportunity to lead programs, not just in men's basketball, but in all sports.
Ed, everyone is familiar with all the guys on both rosters, so what's a key matchup that fans or us in the media should keep an eye on that's going to be make or break this game?
Well, I don't know so much if it's the guards as it is the overall team play. I think both programs have very good guards who have had great games and some have struggled. I think it's going to be the team that'll win who won't turn the ball over, come out with some great energy, control the backboard, and control the execution game. That's going to be the team that wins. I don't think there'll be one particular person that sticks out because everybody's on the radar with a scouting report.
You talk about the fans being almost the 6th man there at the Ryan Center. Is that something that you'll talk to your team about, managing the atmosphere?
Well, you got to manage your emotions in this game here. It's been a highly contested game since we've been here. Many of the games have come down to the last shot, the last minute, the last 2 minutes, and give them a lot of credit. I mean, that building is as loud and as rowdy as any place we'll play this year, but we're accustomed to it playing in the Big East with the crowds that are there, and they just don't have the venom they don't have the venom that comes out of them when Friars roll into town.
Is Nate getting close to pre-injury self?
Nate is still away. He's getting there. We're trying to get his minutes up. When you've been away from 7.5 weeks and you're not as mobile, with that knee. But he's getting there little by little. He's a force to be reckoned with. And we hopefully get him up to 20 minutes, hopefully a little bit more, because we're going to need Big Nate in this game, as their front court is pretty powerful.
And I just want to confirm, is this a rivalry? A couple years ago, you said it wasn't, and that got a lot of play out there.
I think this is a really good basketball game.